Hey everyone, welcome to foodandwinevlogtv.com. I'm your host, Greg the Beer Man Bissonette, and I have a very special beer to review with you today. It is the F&WB from Unibrow Brewery up in Canada. One of the few really good beers that Canada actually produces. I mention this is a special beer because I think I was 14 or so when my father brought a bottle of this down to Virginia, and my family kind of sampled it, and we got experience with it. And it was one of the very first craft brews that I had the opportunity to sample. And as a kid, you take a little sip and you kind of feel that all beer is like Miller or Bud or something, and it's terrible. This really was quite interesting. If I can remember correctly, it had a lot of like caramelized sugar kind of things going on, and definitely was a lot sweeter than I expected. So let's pour it out. I actually haven't had this in many years, and perhaps since that one time 13 years ago or so. It appears it's a twist-off, important thing to note. And this is also an ale en lees, which means that there's going to be sediment at the bottom of the bottle, so you should pour it kind of carefully. This was on its side in my fridge, so this will probably be a little bit more cloudy than usual. Right out of the pour, and I'm pouring this into a tulip glass, that's a Miller High Life glass from like the late 70s or early 80s. I kind of love the irony of it. As you can see, oh wow, you can even smell it over here. It's very well carbonated, very aggressive if I'm watching it here. You get about 1 to 2 fingers of very bright white head, which has a nice lacing on it, and it's this really gorgeous golden color. Again, it's not really that clear, but probably because I had shaken it up a little bit in the way it was sitting in the fridge. So this is a Belgian-style triple. It definitely smells like it. It has a nice bready kind of aroma mixed with some of that Belgian yeast. Not much, but a little bit of the yeast is there. You get some fruits, light sweet fruit with that yeast in the bread. Let's see how it tastes. That is a mighty fine beer. It's not as sweet as I remember it, but perhaps that was just, as a kid, having an incorrect palate. But that's delicious. I believe it's pretty high in alcohol. Yeah, it's 9% ABV. You don't taste any of it. You don't get any of that heat on the palate at all. You do get some nice spice. It's a little bit dry now that I've taken that sip. But the malt and whatever hops they use are beautiful on this, and the fruit component works so nicely with the sugars that are in here. I'm going to take another sip. Man, that's a dangerous beer. Extremely easy drinking, very flavorful. None of the components are out of balance with any of the other. You don't have this extreme yeast component, you don't have an extreme malt component. There's no extra sugar that's really standing out. It all works together as one total package. And that's quite tasty. So, well done, Canada, and those in Quebecois, where the brewery is located. I definitely commend your ability to make an excellent beer. So until next time, cheers and happy drinking.